Hey, how can you call this fine? Don't come back. Go to where Setsuna is already. Why are you blurting that out all of a sudden? Didn't I already tell you that I'm not leaving all month? I'm telling you that I don't want that. Having you around against my will is a nuisance for me too. Go to where Setsuna is already. Kazusa, why are you talking about that all of a... The feelings that made Kazusa want to throw a pillow at me were boiling within her all this time, and it took only an instant for them to burst. It's not sudden at all. I've told you that from the start. You're just bad at listening. How exactly is this fine? You promised to always meet her once a week, didn't you? She spends most of her weekends at your place, doesn't she? That's not true. I was here all last week, too. It wasn't fatigue that was accumulating within her. It was stress. Huh, I see. She can't come because I live next door. Sorry, I'll leave right away. Kazusa! Her stress grew so strong that while she was able to keep her mouth shut about it, she was unable to hide it from me to the very end. Stop being with me out of sympathy. It feels terrible. There's a limit to how pathetic I can be. It's not sympathy. But why now? I never talked about Setsuna with her much. We only ever discussed her when Kazusa brought the topic up. Did I only end up striking an even bigger nerve because of the way I'd been tiptoeing around the issue up until now? Text. Huh? You were typing them all the time here, weren't you? You were talking to Setsuna right in front of me. No, that wasn't it. It seems I had underestimated Kazusa as a woman. You looked so pained, yet happy. With your back towards me, with your back turned to me in my own apartment, looking only at Setsuna. Were you awake? Kazusa wouldn't let go of me. I couldn't leave her alone. I was with her in this room, from when she fell asleep to when she woke up. The meager 30 minutes I had while Kazusa was asleep, that was when I spoke to Setsuna, although she promised not to reply. But despite that, those mere 30 minutes out of the day were my moments of bliss, when I could think about only Setsuna. It hurts me more when you act so sneaky about it. Don't be with me if that's how you're going to do it. Haven't I told you that I can leave whenever you want? She's right. One can only be so careless. One can only be so cruel. What the hell was I doing? You can't do that. Your injuries have only just healed, and you aren't prepared yet. I'll be fine. I'll have Mom take care of me from now on. She's the one responsible for bringing me to Japan in the first place, so that's only natural, isn't it? Yoko-san. And as Kazusa is feeling hurt, her train of thought only leads to an even worse choice.
So, you don't have to hold back until the concert or anything. I'm sorry for making you keep an eye on such an overbearing woman.
You can't. You can't. Think this over again, Kazusa.
Why can't I? She's my only friend in the whole world, you know.
I've tried to increase the distance between the two of them, but all it accomplished was to make Kazusa long for Youko-san even more. Youko-san is really busy these upcoming days. That's why you shouldn't cause her trouble.
You seem to know a lot, Riki.
Well, because I have a lot of connections through work and...
Well, I suppose so. You've been seeing Mom every day. Probably more than you have been with me.
What's this about? I failed. My expression doesn't look natural at all. Kazusa can clearly see my mouth is twitching, and she can clearly see that my gaze is wandering away from her.
Haven't you had the scent of my mother's perfume on you every day? Haven't you had the scent of a woman other than me?
I really have been naive.
Even today, I saw you from the studio window. You got out of a taxi along with my mom. You had no business with me, yet you were with my mom.
I never truly realized that Toma Kazusa at some point had become a woman through and through. I never truly understood what it meant when she displayed that woman's intuition to me. No, but Youko-san and I aren't.
I understand that you don't have that kind of relationship. Even I wouldn't be so indiscriminately jealous.
Is that so?
But you're keeping something secret from me, aren't you? I'm not wrong about that. Now, am I?
Well,
What are you two doing in secret? Tell me. Just kidding. I already know without asking. Mom is probably trying to gain your sympathy.
No, that's not it.
Mom put you up to this, didn't she? She told you to be with me until the concert ends. She told you to whisper sweet words in my ears.
I just said that's not it. Shut up! At that moment, it was not honeyed word that spilled from my mouth, but an angry shout. Because I haven't made a promise like that to Youko-san. I have no reason to whisper sweet words to her.
So, basically, the reason you are with me right now is because Mom asked you to, and you had no choice. This is all for the sake of the concert.
Stop it! Before I knew it, I tightly wrapped my arms around Kazusa. Shut up! Don't say anything! Don't hurt yourself, Kazusa! But despite the fact that she'd normally get flustered, scared, and start trembling while letting out warm breaths in a situation like this, Kazusa simply remained still, neither accepting nor rejecting my embrace.
I'm really sorry for giving you such an awful job. My mom is strangely overprotective sometimes.
She never asked me to do this. I'm with you out of my own free will.
Then why are you hiding the fact that you're seeing my mom? Why won't you tell me what you're talking to her about?
That was the reason Kazusa felt suspicious of me. That was the reason Kazusa felt there was a different reason for me getting involved. It's only natural for Kazusa to arrive at that conclusion from the information she has. Go to sleep now. You're tired. Didn't you say so yourself?
I am tired, but I also know that you won't answer my suspicions. I know full well that you're trying to deceive me, Ariki.
But your suspicion is off the mark by a mile. My determination has no influence on anyone but myself. The truth is, I'm the one holding Yoko-san down. I'm by Kazusa's side, despite her objections. Kazusa, I'm begging you. Please, calm down. Don't think about anything. Doing so right now will only lead to negative thoughts, because people like being told to calm down.
But that's the truth, isn't it? That's why you can't say anything.
Stop it!
Ariki!
The tears falling from Kazusa's eyelashes dampen even my cheeks. Despite that, I don't correct Kazusa's sad misunderstanding. I absolutely cannot tell her the truth. I'm cornered. I beg you, rest for now. Let's talk again tomorrow.
Ariki!
Today, I'll be next to you all day again. Whether you're asleep or awake, I'll look only at you. I won't think about anyone else.
Sorry. Ariki.
You're feeling nervous about the concert. Don't worry, I'll be right next to you. I put even more force into my arms around Kazusa. With my body heat, I calmed down the body that previously couldn't shiver nor be scared. Good night. For real this time, Kazusa. Or only today. No, for the upcoming 2 weeks. I thought about becoming the me that belonged to Kazusa. I thought about stopping my texts, my calls, even my thoughts about Setsuna in the back of my head. I thought about only ever showing affection towards Kazusa. But what will happen after that? Will everything be alright as long as her concert turns out well? Even though Kazusa's problem won't be solved even then? It's been an hour since then. Kazusa has finally calmed down and is now breathing peacefully in her sleep. While gazing at her swollen eyelids, I think about the tough battle awaiting me from tomorrow onward. A crack has appeared in the dam. If things go on like this, it'll break down sooner or later. I have to do something. Something. I have to come up with a solution until Kazusa wakes up. So I can't allow myself to sleep today. I have to keep thinking until dawn about a way to make Kazusa happy. I can't fall asleep. There are stories of charms being broken the moment one falls asleep. These tales are widespread in both the West and the East. That's why. And then, the creator of these tales toys with us, as if to mock my apprehension. The moment I came to, I had already committed my fatal mistake. During those mere 30 minutes of sleep, Kazusa had disappeared. February 9th, Saturday.
It must have been a week since we last met here.
It was a turbulent day. I couldn't reach Yoko-san's phone throughout the morning, so I had to ask Kudo-san and even Hamada-san to find out her whereabouts. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when Yoko-san finally called me, but the place she was in at the time was...
Now, where should I start?
Let's start with your current condition. It was the same hospital room she was in a week ago. They told me she wasn't there when I asked in the morning. She must have been transferred there from an emergency hospital at a later time. In other words, we were back to square one. No, we were actually in an even worse situation.
Oh my, even this late in the game, you're still willing to prioritize me?
Of course. Aren't you in pain? Is it okay for you to be talking to me like this?
It hasn't gotten any worse. One step forward, one step back is what they call it.
You don't think anything will happen to you right now, right?
Indeed, I only feel a little anemic. I got some bed rest with the drip feed, so I feel better now.
Perhaps remembering the fact that lighthearted chatter doesn't work on me, Yoko-san doesn't try to dodge the question.
It's simply the fact she called for an ambulance even though it wasn't anything serious. So, I'll be stuck like this for a while.
Do you mean?
After all, that was the first time Kazusa saw me like that. She got in a bit of a panic. I'm sorry, Gitara-kun. I collapsed right in front of her.
Kazusa couldn't endure being endlessly hurt by me. So, she broke away from my supervision and returned to Yoko-san. That was during the morning when Yoko-san was asleep with the help of pills. And due to the short notice, she had no time to adjust her condition, nor to pretend that she was fine.
You had worked so hard to hide it from her, but it seems that I've undone all that.
It's all my fault. I was supposed to be Kazusa's anchor back then, and I was naive enough to think that I had calmed her down. That's when I carelessly fell asleep. If anything, I fiercely provoked Kazusa's feelings. I was the one responsible for tearing off the chains of her anchor. It all had to happen at such a vital moment. At this point, I can't describe myself with anything else but pure vitriol.
Perhaps this is punishment. I tried to deceive my own daughter.
That is my fault too. I was the one who thought of deceiving her, and I was the one who made you agree.
You burden yourself with guilt too much. Doesn't it feel strange for her old flame to be more involved with her than her own parent?
I'm sorry.
Apologizing there is a crime of conscience too. Never once complaining about how I dragged you into this mess.
If you're going to go that far, then that goes for the both of us.
You're right. Let's make that our common ground.
If Yoko-san is being punished for deceiving her own daughter, then I should be punished for hurting the person precious to me. So, about Kazusa.
I don't know where she went, but you'll probably have an easier time finding her than before. She had trouble even standing up, after all.
Yoko-san, what am I supposed to do?
If you can tell me what I'm supposed to do, I'll answer your question.
This isn't about accepting my punishment. It's just that the fact that there's a deep wound in Kazusa's heart is paining my heart too. I'll administer the same medication as last time for now. Contact me directly once she wakes up.
What about the complete examination?
We'll do that when my diagnosis is finished. For the time being, I'll stay here the whole day.
Wait a minute. What in the world is the meaning of this?
Everything is fine. Your mother will be able to leave the hospital once she gets some rest.
Why does everyone know so much? Please, don't make so much noise in the hospital room. The patients will wake up.
Well, calm down. These things might look serious, but they actually happen quite often.
What do you mean, happen quite often? Has this happened to my mom many times before? Please, be quiet.
Kazusa-chan, was it? Shall we have a cup of tea in the cafeteria?
Mom is all right, isn't she? She's just a bit anemic, right?
Let's calm down for the time being. Let your mother rest for now.
But
she's only sleeping right now. She's fine. Come on now, follow me.
Don't try to ensnare a girl young enough to be your granddaughter. You never change, do you? Mom?
Yoko-chan.
It seems like I've caused you unnecessary trouble again. But I'm all right now. Thank you, Nori-kun.
But what about your body?
Please leave me alone with my daughter. I'll tell her myself. Mom? And that pretty much sums it up. Kazusa, this is a joke, right? Indeed, this is a terrible joke. But would you believe me even if I said that? That can't be. Why? Why does it have to be now? It's strange for you to be more shocked than me about this. I'm the one actually experiencing the symptoms. You promised me. You promised, didn't you? You told me you wouldn't die before your daughter, didn't you? Life is, in its essence, mere postponement. Isn't it a bit pathetic to actually believe in such a promise? Humans are corrupt creatures when it comes to death. I've witnessed that kind of thing happen countless times myself. Although, that's not to say I was very keen on becoming ill, nor to have you find out about it. But now that you know, I want to face it with a bit of optimism. You too should prepare yourself for the worst. That can't be. You have to be lying. Kazusa? Mom! 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 No! Don't die! You can't die! You told me you'd live a long life, didn't you? You told me you'd take care of yourself for my sake. Yet, what should I do? I've lost everything. I've lost everything I can cling to in a single day. I'm sorry. There. Hey, come here. Jeez, you weren't even like this when you were a baby, you know? Though, I suppose that's the reason you grew up to be like this. I'm sorry, Kazusa. It would indeed be too early if I died right away. But relax, I won't kick the bucket that easily. Really? For what it's worth, I plan on living until I'm 100 years old. You won't betray me again, right? You won't call me pathetic for leaving you, right? I went too far earlier. I'm sorry. You'll be with me, right? You alone, Mom. You'll always be with me. Kazusa, let's go home. Let's get this concert over with and go home to Vienna. You'll get better if you take a good rest at home. And once you get better, let's play the piano again. I'll take care of you from now on, Mom. That's right. We could even stage our own concert. We've never played a piano duet before, have we? I'll have to improve a lot so people don't consider me a mere sidekick. I'll participate in tons of concerts and contests from now on. Kazusa, I'll work hard so I can stand on equal ground with you. No, I'll surpass you. That's why I want you to keep being a goal that's far beyond my reach. A rival so strong, I'll lose heart. Kazusa, I won't hide anything from you anymore. I don't want to deceive you any further. Mom, I'm sorry, Kazusa, but stop it. My adventures end here. Stop it!
The sun had already set when I left through the after-hours entrance. Now, the cold winter wind blows against my face without mercy. Looking at the clock, I see that it's well past 10 p.m. Come to think of it, it's well past visiting hours. It seems that the hospital gave me special treatment in more ways than one. I leave the hospital grounds and step onto Hojo University campus. Since it's nighttime during the exam period, there isn't anyone else around. Despite that, there are still some illuminated windows in the school buildings. They indicate that more than just exams are closing in. but also the deadlines for bachelor and master theses. I recall spending countless nights under these lights too.
Alrighty then. Wake me up when you go to eat breakfast. Good night.
Thesis crunch. I remember that time. All-nighters in the computer labs. Fun times. Caterpillar always hanging around my feet though. A classmate who brought her sleeping bag to the lab, even though she never actually bothered to write her thesis. She did successfully make it to the 4th year, but I started seeing her less and less after that. I never saw her at the graduation ceremony either. Now that I mention it, I do believe I once ran into her in the streets after I got employed. She had become unbelievably beautiful during the time I hadn't seen her. No, she was probably exceptional to begin with. When I asked her how she was doing, she avoided the question by suddenly licking my ear before disappearing into the crowd with cackling laughter. And before I knew it, I had 2 tickets for a play in my pocket. They were platinum tickets for a troupe even I knew about. I have absolutely no clue what she was trying to tell me, but I suppose that was proof that she hadn't changed one bit. But I suppose that was proof that she hadn't changed one bit.
Hey, Haruki, I know about the depth of your emotions, you know. That beautiful feeling of yours that's on par with any of the world's many stories. You know what I mean? You've already come this far, so I hope you can dash towards the finish line and give this beautiful story the beautiful ending it deserves.
Back then, she was a precious female friend to me. Someone who I didn't really see as a woman. At times, she'd say something strangely clever, making me wonder sometimes whether she truly knew everything about me. Right now, I'm suffering because my feelings are as deep as you described them to me. Right now, I'm suffering because my feelings are as deep as you described them to be. And I'm unable to produce a beautiful ending to this supposedly wonderful story, just like you hoped I would. Tell me, Izumi, what did you know about me back then? And right now, you know exactly what it is I should do? Looking at the clock, I see it's almost 11 p.m. Since I'm walking so slowly and also immersing myself in nostalgic memories, it took me a whole 30 minutes just to leave the university grounds. The cold wind chills me to my core, like always, making me loathe the idea of staying in this place. But I also know my thoughts will grow dull the moment I think about where to go instead. Yoko-san said she had a clue about where Kazusa is, and I have a good idea about where that place is myself. But I don't have the determination to go there right now, because I still don't know what will happen when she comes out to the world. That's why I can't knock on her door just yet. I need to make my resolve about everything by the next time I meet her. Not about our plans for the coming 2 weeks. Not about what I'll do until her concert in Japan is over. It must be about the rest of Kazusa's life. about where I'll live and who I'll live with. I can't go see her until I've fully made my resolve. Tomo Yoko's death as a pianist, given that Kazusa admired her and viewed her as her rival, it's not something she can ever bring herself to fully accept, because Kazusa never had her eyes on anything else, to one day surpass Tomo Yoko while she is still in her prime, in a direct confrontation, to be able to sneer at her own mother, for them to insult each other, honor each other, hug each other, and cry together. Her aim was so focused on that specific goal that it might be accurate to call her final goal as a pianist, but today, the summit Kazusa aimed for vanished without warning. Oh, it's closed already. This restaurant really has no interest in making money during nighttime, just like always. Though there really is no need to complain about that, because I'm not actually hungry. Also, this place is located on the way home, so I didn't waste my time coming here. I just thought that perhaps...
Please don't look so gloomy in front of the restaurant. You'll scare the customers away. Please only act like that when you're in the kitchen, every now and then.
Someone might be here to cheer me up. Without any good reason, I might have led myself to believe something so convenient. The junior who started working here without a choice, so she could pay for her graduation trip, with a naturally over-serious, diligent, and fearless attitude. She managed to take over the reins of the restaurant before we knew it, and became someone absolutely vital to the restaurant in a mere 3 months. Eventually, the other employees begged her to stay after she graduated, which she did. And soon after, she became the poster girl for the restaurant, attracting dozens of repeat customers. I came here 2 or 3 times after I got employed, but she just lectured me with a sulky expression, just like old times. Come to think of it, Setsuna, who was with me at the time, muttered something on the way home.
That girl is still in love with you, Haruki-kun. I'm sure.
I have no clue what gave her that idea. I was just some good-for-nothing guy in her eyes. But that was precisely the reason why she couldn't let me out of her sight.
Because I want to know more about you. I don't want to know someone I can't understand. Well, I feel bothered when you act like that around me. Because I can't get it off my mind. Because I'm very interested in you, senpai.
She was a troublesome junior who would poke her nose into the business of anyone, regardless of who they were. Now, the weaker the person was, the more invasive she became. I wonder what she'd do if Kazusa appeared in front of her. Kazusa might be a stranger to her, but would Koharu be able to ignore her when she has lost all faith and everything precious to her? Sugiura Koharu, what would you think if you met Kazusa? You, who are widely regarded as being similar to me.
That girl loves the piano, but unlike me, it isn't her whole life.
If one were to ask Yoko-san, then she isn't someone who can live as long as she has her piano. She's not such a pure musician.
That girl loves the piano. It's only when she plays that she can communicate with the one she loves.
Do you mean yourself, Yoko-san?
Well, I was indeed one of the few residents in that girl's world. However, I wasn't referring to myself with that last example.
Reality is terribly harsh, and it's terribly lenient on me. That's why Yoko-san didn't try to hide her irritation about my indecisiveness.
It's because there were people she could communicate with through her piano, that she could play all day, every day without getting tired.
Someone who does exist in reality, but can only be met in her fantasies. Someone who'd be by her side and guide her. Someone who'd be by her side and guide her. Even when fantasy and reality are put together, only a few people comprised her entire world.
Although, annoyingly enough, that girl doesn't love the piano like I do. Yet, she has more talent than me.
She played the piano without rest every single day, just so she could communicate with a small number of people. In a twist of irony, her exceptional talent led those performances to be accepted worldwide.
The truth is that I'm not sure myself if that girl can find her path on her own.
That's why, even if she still has her piano, if there's no one she can communicate with through those words, then there might not be any purpose in it at all. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. See? This is pretty much what I was expecting to happen when Kazusa found out. Probably in one of the worst ways. At least Youko survived and didn't just drop dead in front of Kazusa. But now Kazusa won't trust anything Youko says about her health. And she'll be stressing about her, even if Youko is recovering. I hope they turn out okay.